Hello, welcome to Onside English. I'm Ross, and we are going to look at some English phrases to help you communicate better and improve your understanding of English in football. We're going to take a look at English phrases to use with the channels. So this video will focus on the channels and English phrases that you can use as a coach, an analyst, scout or player. So what are the channels and what phrases can be used with them? The channels. These are the spaces or corridors between the defenders in the defensive line. For example, the space between the fullback and the centre-back is a channel. First of all, let's look at the inside channel. This is the channel in between the fullback and the centre-back. There is one on the left side and the right side. Then they are the wide channels or wide areas. This is the channel on the outside of the fullback. The wide space for the wingers and fullbacks to attack. And you can see how they work on the pitch in this image. So the first phrase we will look at is to move into the channels. To move into the channels is to receive a pass or to help other channels remain open. Let's see an example. So Frenkie de Jong has moved into the channel. He has seen space in this channel and moved into this area. When moving into a channel, it makes the defender run with the attacker. Barcelona will now have more space in the central area for runners. And moving into channels creates a run or space behind the defense. It also creates space in between the two central defenders for another attacker to run into. You can see that by moving into the channel, De Jong has created this. However, Barcelona were not in position to make the pass or run this time. Another phrase you can use and strategy is to stay in the channel or occupy the channel. This has the same meaning. So to stay in between the defenders in the channel, this makes the defenders focus on the attacker and keeps spaces between the other lines. So stay in the channel, occupy the channel. Now De Jong does not receive the pass, but he will continue to stay in the channel. You can also tell players to occupy the space in the channel if you want them to stay there. So De Jong occupied the channel between the fullback and the centre-back. This area is more known as the half space. Keep the width. This is a phrase you can use to tell the fullbacks or wingers to stay out in the wide positions on both sides of the pitch. This helps keep the channels open across the pitch. So in this example, because Perez kept the width, he allowed De Jong to stay in the half space and receive the ball. Perez then used the space in this wide channel to get in behind the defence and create a diversion. De Jong can now create a chance from the half space. You can see De Jong is waiting in the half space. He does this so that he takes the attention of both defenders and can receive the ball, making it hard for the defenders to know who to follow. By staying in the half space, and because Perez stayed in the wide channel, they were able to deceive the defenders. Coach your players to stay in the half space and stay in the wide channels. By staying in the half space, De Jong has dragged the centre-back towards him and created space for an attacker to run into in the middle. And the centre-back was dragged out of the central area. You can see the better position for him to be in. Coach our midfielders to occupy the half space or move into the inside channel to drag defenders out of position. What does the phrase to drag defenders out of position mean? This is to take a defender away from their position so that space is created behind them. Attackers need to do this to create attacking chances. Another phrase you can use with your players is to run into the channel, to move very quickly into the channel to receive a pass that helps get in behind the defense. Usually wingers, fullbacks or strikers will do this. So Jong is going to run into the channel. Watch how this causes problems for the centre-back and creates space between the two centre-backs. The Valencia centre-backs are close together and they have a good base. Jong is going to run into the inner channel to separate the centre-backs and cause problems. So Jong's run into the channel forces the centre-back to go with him. This creates space between the two centre-backs for another attacker to move into. It's also important to tell your central strikers to run into the channels. To do this, they need to run into the spaces between the centre-backs and between the centre-backs and full-backs. They need to make diagonal runs to be effective. So you can see Gamero is making a diagonal run into the channel. This creates space on the other side for a left-sided attacker to run into. Coach your attackers to make diagonal runs into the channels. And what does making diagonal runs mean? This is to run across the defender, not in a straight line. To run from one side of the pitch to the other, left to right. This takes defenders away from their best position and creates space. Another phrase you want to use with your players is to play into the channel. This is to pass the ball into any of the channels so that an attacker can run onto the pass. This can be a through ball or even a straight pass. Let's have a look at an example. So Barcelona move the ball out wide to draw out the fullback. This will create more space in the inside channel. Then they will be able to play it into the channel. Play the ball into the channel. Now Barcelona have dragged the fullback out. Now there is a big space in the channel. Now they can play it into the channel. So Ansu Fati runs into the channel where the pass was played. Playing into channels can get in behind the defense. Coach your team to open channels and play into the channels. Now Perez will show us how making a run into the channel can open space in the wide areas. Perez makes a run into the channel between the centre-back and the full-back. This creates loads of space for Semedo to run into as it takes the full-back away from this area. Tell your attackers to make runs into the channels. Running into the channel has stretched the defence and given space for Semedo to cross or pass into the half space. Now Valencia are set up well defensively, and because of this you need your striker to move into the channel. Watch how Griezmann moves into the channel to help create space in other areas. Because Griezmann moved into the channel, he took the defender with him. This creates more space between the two central defenders. Coach your strikers to move or run into the inner channels to create space for a deep run. Open the wide channel. So this is to keep defenders out of the wide channel so that your attacker or fullback has space to run into. You'll see here that Rodrigo is operating in the channel and Parejo will occupy the space in between the lines. Parejo will do this to help open the wide channel for Gaia on the left. Parejo will now drop deep to receive the pass to help keep the open space in the wide channel. Gaia now has loads of space to run into and attack. So occupying the channels and the half spaces can draw in defenders and leave space in other channels. Parejo has caused the Barcelona defenders to stay central and leave space out wide. And Valencia can get on the attack. And finally, watch how Gamero notices the space and runs into the channel. You can see the channel is open and ready for him to run into. Gamero times his run into the channel so that he stays onside and gets in behind the defense to score. You can see again that Gamero makes the run into the channel between the fullback and the centre-back to score. Coach your strikers to run into the channels between the centre-back and fullback so that it creates space and gets in behind the defense. So thanks for watching. If you wish to learn more phrases and improve your English in football, then check out the English for Football Professionals course. This is a course that has been designed to improve your understanding of football phrases in English, know how to use tactical and strategy phrases in English, describe the play and tactical analysis better with your philosophy, improve communication skills with players as well, also become clearer with instructions and explanations, and finally improve your confidence and communication on the training ground pitch. So take a look at the link in the description below, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in the next video.